Single dad CEO hires unexpected nurse for his daughter, reveals life-changing love he never knew. Jake Thompson, a 36-year-old single father and the dedicated CEO of a manufacturing company, stood in his sparsely decorated kitchen. The aroma of burnt toast mixed with the tension hanging in the air. He glanced at his watch, anxiety gripping his heart. 8-year-old Lily needed him, and yet, a mountain of responsibilities constantly loomed over him like a storm cloud, threatening to rain down chaos. He'd sacrificed so much for his job, yet for what? The moments with Lily were slipping away, and the stress felt almost unbearable. Every dollar spent on Lily's special health needs was a drop in the ocean of financial insecurity that seemed to engulf him. Could he really do this alone? Could he be both the loving father and the successful CEO? Just then, he heard a giggle from the living room. That sound, pure and innocent, cut through his worries. Lily was drawing, lost in her colorful world where dragons soared and princesses danced. He couldn't let her down. He made a decision: he needed help. That's when Mia entered their lives, a compassionate nurse back from serving overseas, buzzing with enthusiasm and warmth. Jake felt an immediate, instinctive pull toward her confidence, yet he immediately guarded his heart. Here was yet another person who could either help or hurt his precious girl. Mia began working with Lily, and her gentle spirit was like a soft blanket wrapped around the both of them. They bonded over simple things: favorite colors, cartoon characters, and dreams of adventure. Watching Mia bring so much joy into Lily's life struck Jake like a lightning bolt, unsettling him. It was a connection he had almost forgotten, one that thrummed with the need for something more. As days passed, Jake's defenses wavered. He witnessed Lily light up with every interaction with Mia, laughter ringing through their home. But love was a dangerous gamble. He feared closer ties could fracture like glass. Just as he dared to embrace the warmth blooming in his chest, his old business rival slinked back into the picture, determined to undermine everything Jake had labored for the company, and now, this delicate bond they had formed. Moments of hope intertwined with anxiety as misunderstandings flared. Jake felt the weight of his past mistakes claw back, urging him to retreat like a wounded animal. But this time, he fought to stay present, as Mia confronted every absorbed fear with grace. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The culmination of his struggles hit when he faced a critical meeting that could save his company but meant missing Lily's long-awaited school play. As he sat alone in his office, papers scattered in dread, the sound of Lily's excited chatter echoed in his mind. This was her moment, the chance to shine, and there he was, teetering on the edge of self-inflicted loneliness. Confronted by the weight of his choices, Jake felt fear and hope wrestle in his chest. Could he forsake the promise of financial security for the love that had quietly seeped into every nook of their lives? The room spun as he faced the crossroad: success or family. Would he embrace the love he'd never known he needed, or would he let ambition claim him once again? The tension crackled in the air, leaving him breathless, as the most significant choice of his life loomed ahead. The morning of Lily's school play arrived, and Jake's heart sank like a stone. He had finally decided he would make the meeting quick, just enough to keep the company afloat, but he struggled to push past the guilt gnawing at him. Each minute spent behind the boardroom table felt like an hour, with images of Lily's beaming smile haunting him. What would he do if she looked out into the audience and saw an empty seat where her father should be? The voices around him faded, becoming a dull roar as his mind drifted. He could picture her dressed as a sparkling fairy princess, perhaps clutching a shiny wand or whispering lines filled with brave spirit. How could he miss that? He squeezed his eyes shut for a moment, willing the clock to pause, to turn back time. But life didn't work that way. He opened his eyes, ready to dive back into the meeting when Mia's name flickered in his mind. She was still relatively new in their lives, yet she brought a light that shone brightly onto both him and Lily. Could he trust her to take care of Lily in this moment? A barrage of questions surged within him. Was she truly dedicated, or was this just a job to her? Yet, a smile crept to his lips when he recalled the warmth she exuded, the gentle way she coaxed laughter out of Lily even on the hardest days. Maybe he should just call her. Maybe she could give him courage, or at least ease the unrelenting guilt. But as Jake picked up his phone, the reality of all his responsibilities threatened to pull him under. Co-workers shot him questioning glances as he fiddled with the device in his hand. With every heartbeat, the minutes ticked away towards Lily's performance. He swallowed the lump in his throat and put the phone down. The meeting concluded with his anxiety still stifling his breath. Orders signed, profits projected, and yet, all he could think about were the missed moments. They rushed back to him in vivid memories, rendering the accomplishments of his career hollow. When he finally stepped out into the bright afternoon light, a thought struck him hard. What was the point of succeeding at all if it meant losing the ones he loved? He could picture Lily's sparkle fading each day. He focused only on financial triumphs. Hurry! He muttered to himself, racing to the school. Heart pounding, adrenaline pumping, it wasn't until he reached the entrance that he paused, taking a deep breath. Would he walk in to find Lily in tears, disappointed because he wasn't there for her? He stepped into the auditorium. The stage was lit with bright colors, filled with children in costumes, parents whispering excitedly, and a palpable energy humming in the air. As he scanned the crowd, there she was, a tiny princess with eyes sparkling like gems, giggling as she waved at the stage crew. Relief washed over him. He hadn't missed it after all. But before the joy could settle, Jake spotted Mia, standing just a few rows ahead, watching Lily with a proud smile. Their eyes met for a brief moment, and Jake felt the connection spark again, stronger than before. "Daddy!" Lily squealed, catching sight of him. Her joy radiated through the room as she bounded in his direction, her costume shimmering under the stage lights. In that moment, it hit him he couldn't let fear of loss sabotage the budding relationship with Mia and Lily. Maybe this was a chance for love, not just for him but for all three of them. But the sudden surge of happiness quickly veered into uncertainty. Could Mia truly be someone to share this new life with? As Jake knelt down to embrace Lily, another thought loomed large. What if his business rival came after Mia next? Would he have the courage to really defend the growing love that had intertwined their fates? A surge of determination pulsed through him. He'd protect her, keep their small, still warm family safe. Jake pulled back to look into Lily's bright eyes, as the play was about to begin. All the chaos of yesterday faded, replaced by a pulse of promise for something better ahead. But just as the curtains drew back, a shadow shifted in the doorway. Jake's heart dropped. The very man who sought to destroy everything he loved stood watching, an unsettling grin plastered on his face. What was this confrontation about to bring? Jake felt an icy grip of fear surge through him when the man's presence pierced the comforting atmosphere of the auditorium. His rival, Mark, had always been like a thorn in his side, an ever-present reminder of the business stakes that pushed good people out of the way. But now, as he stood there with that infuriating smirk, Jake's focus shifted away from the warmth of Lily and the play unfolding before him. "Jake," Mark called out, his voice dripping with feigned politeness. "Nice to see you. I didn't think you'd make it." The crowd buzzed around them, absorbed in the excitement of the play, but Jake felt time slow down. "Why are you here?" Jake asked, forcing the words out despite the knot tightening in his stomach. "I came to see the show, of course. But I have to admit, I'm more interested in what you're up to these days." Mark tilted his head slightly, his eyes flicking towards Lily, clearly enjoying the discomfort he was causing. Jake's heart raced. Why couldn't the man just disappear? The last thing he wanted was a showdown here, in front of Lily. He scanned the auditorium, desperately hoping that Mia would sense the tension and come to his side. But she was still absorbed in Lily's antics on stage, blissfully unaware of the brewing storm in the audience. "Look, Mark," Jake said, lowering his voice, "I don't want any trouble. Can't you just let me enjoy this moment with my daughter?" "Oh, come on. Where's the fun in that?" Mark's smugness pierced Jake like a dagger. "After all, you're so focused on playing the hero for her. It must be exhausting." Before Jake could respond, the first act of the play burst to life on stage. Lily transformed in the spotlight, her joy radiating outward. For an instant, all Jake could see was her exuberance. She was enchanting, and he felt that familiar swell of pride. But Mark's voice cut through the magic again. "She's a beautiful little girl. It's a shame her father's too busy to be there for her. Just don't let her get too attached to that nurse of yours." Mark eyed him like a predator stalking its prey. Jake's chest tightened. The playful, carefree moment Lily had created only moments ago felt heavy now. The worry etched into his mind: what if Mark took this mess beyond words? What if he dragged Mia into their feud? This was about more than business, it was about Lily's happiness. In an unexpected twist of emotions, Mia glanced back at them now, sensing Jake's unease. She met his eyes, and he could see the concern mirrored in her expression. It gave him strength. "Leave Mia out of this," Jake interjected fiercely. "You don't know anything about her. She's good for Lily, good for me. You'll not tear apart what I'm building here." Mark chuckled softly, it was arrogant, dismissive. "Building? More like building sandcastles, Jake. They're easily washed away. Just keep your eyes open. This industry is ruthless." As the curtains shifted for the next act, Jake felt the warmth of Lily's hand still clutched in his. She couldn't possibly understand the tension between the men. She only wanted him to watch her shine. He couldn't let her see him falter. But Mark lingered, casting a long shadow over their moment, a constant reminder of the dangers lurking just beyond the fragile comfort of this shared happiness. The play continued, but Jake's mind raced ahead. What steps could he take to ensure both Mia and Lily were protected? He knew their budding relationship could be threatened, and the stakes were only raising. As Lily twirled on stage, a light in the darkness, Jake vowed that he wouldn't allow Mark to shatter their world again. Suddenly, amid the applause for the first act, Mark stepped closer, his voice low yet menacing. "You can't keep running forever, Jake. It's easier when we have your attention." Jake's heart pounded. Was he really prepared for this fight? What would he do next when push came to shove? Jake's fists clenched at his sides. He could feel his heart thrumming, a relentless drumbeat echoing his rising anxiety. He turned his gaze away from Mark, forcing himself to focus on the stage again. Lily was there, sparkling and lost in her own world, a world where this rivalry didn't exist. She didn't know how close danger was, and Jake intended to keep it that way. "Daddy, watch this," Lily called, her voice bright and full of life. She twirled, her dress flaring around her like petals unfurling, and for a fleeting moment, Jake's heart swelled with affection. That was the magic of the stage, the dazzling light that banished shadows, if only for a while. Yet, the grip of Mark's presence lingered like a storm cloud overhead. "Great job, sweetheart." He cheered, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. But in that moment, the sound of applause became a dull roar. All he could hear was Mark's taunts looping in his mind. "Jake." Mia's voice pulled him back to reality. She had finally turned her attention away from the show, her eyebrows knitted with concern. She leaned in closer, her sweet scent grounding him. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, just keep enjoying the show," he replied. He tried to soften his tone, but the worry seeped through. "I'll handle it." "Handle what?" She glanced at Mark, who was still lurking, looking like a snake ready to strike. The tension in her eyes deepened. "You don't have to deal with him alone, Jake. I know, but... He exhaled slowly, not wanting to burden her with this darkness. I just need you to focus on Lily. She's what matters most right now. Lily danced across the stage, her laughter ringing bright and clear. The audience erupted into applause, and in that moment, it felt like a veil had lifted, if only temporarily. But as the curtain fell for the intermission, Jake felt Mark South's presence close in again, the smile on his face widening. You do know you're in over your head, right? There it was again, the venom disguised as charm. Why don't you just leave me alone? Jake snapped, the anger bubbling to the surface. Because I enjoy watching you squirm. Tell me, how far will you go to protect them? Mark's tone changed, serious and pointed, like a hunter assessing his catch. I'd do anything, Jake stated firmly, a resolve igniting within him. Anything? Even if it meant facing the truth about your precious little nurse. Mark leaned in closer, eyes glinting with the thrill of manipulation. You think you're protecting them from me, but you might just be holding them in danger yourself. Jake's mind raced. What could Mark know? He and Mia had built something good, something special, yet here was Mark trying to tear it apart like a predator. The stakes rose higher with every low blow. With everything you have, Jake, don't forget that I'm always one step ahead, Mark warned, his voice dropping to a whisper. Jake swallowed hard, the weight of Mark's threats sinking deep. He needed to be smarter quicker. Still, a part of him wondered what he'd discover if he followed this thread. Was there a deeper truth behind Mark's cruel hints? Lily is my priority, he shouted, the crowd turning to glance in their direction. The indignation was stronger now, flooding his veins. And if you think you can disrupt that, Jake. Daddy. Lily's voice rang out, pulling him from the edge. She was bounding towards him, her arms raised like a small son seeking her father's warmth. As she embraced him, Jake felt the tension ease, but even as he clung to her, he could see Mark looming at the back, an ominous figure against the glimmering lights. In that moment, Jake knew he had to make a decision. What was the truth that Mark was trying to play at? The play continued, but Jake's heart raced. He could protect his family, but how far would he be willing to go to uncover the game Mark was playing? Jake felt the resolve swell again, stronger than before. But with every determination, questions arose: what truths were hidden? This was just the beginning. And their story was far from over. Would he be ready when everything came crashing down? The lights in the auditorium dimmed, creating a protective cocoon around Jake and Lily. For a brief moment, the chaos of Mark's taunting seemed to fade, and Jake could breathe a little easier. He tucked his daughter closer, catching a glimpse of Mia's worried expression. She smiled to reassure him, but he could see the concern in her eyes. They were sharing this turmoil, even if he wanted to shield her from it. Okay, sweetheart, Jake whispered, leaning down to meet Lily's eager blue eyes. It's time for the second act. Ready? Yes, Daddy. Let us go. She beamed, her excitement infectious. As the performance continued, there was a newfound urgency in Jake's heart. Each pirouette Lily took seemed to twist the knife of worry deeper into his gut. He couldn't shake the feeling that the real show was happening off stage, with Mark pulling strings and plotting. With every passing scene, Jake caught glimpses of Mark. He was standing just far enough to remain unseen by the audience, his eyes fixated on Jake, as if waiting for the moment when he would crack. Jake's pulse quickened. After a stunning number that left the audience applauding with fervor, it was time for another intermission. Jake felt restless. He needed to confront Mark, to put fear in his eyes instead of the other way around. He gently squeezed Lily's shoulder. Stay close. Mia followed him, her presence a quiet comfort. What are you thinking? You don't have to do this alone. I can't let him get to us. Not ever. His voice was steady, but inside, confusion churned. What did Mark know? They slipped into the lobby, the buzz of conversations swirling around them. Jake scanned the crowd for Mark, feeling heavy tension rising in the air. When he found him at the edge of the gathering, an icy wave washed over him. "Jake," Mark greeted with a predatory grin, a drink in hand. "Enjoying the show? What do you want?" Jake challenged, stepping closer. "Nothing much. Just wanted to see how far you'd go. You know, protecting your little family." Mark's gaze drifted to where Lily was laughing with other kids, her innocence shining like a beacon. "Leave her out of this. She's just a child," Jake spat, anger surging through him. "Oh, but she's the key, isn't she? The heart of your little world," Mark taunted. "And one little push from me could tumble it all down." In that moment, fury ignited in Jake. "You think you can scare me? I'll do whatever it takes to protect her." "You're all talk." "Talk?" Mark chuckled, and it was a sound devoid of warmth. "Let's see if you can still say that when the truth comes to light." His eyes glinted with hidden knowledge as he took a step back, relishing the uncertainty he stirred. "What truth?" Jake pressed, desperation leaking into his voice. The stakes felt precariously high, and Jake realized Mark was playing a deeper game, one that could unravel everything if he wasn't careful. "Let's just say you might want to dig deeper into Mia's past. It's more complicated than you think." With that, Mark turned and melted into the crowd, leaving Jake feeling breathless and unsteady. "What is he talking about?" Mia stepped closer, concern etched into her features. "I don't know, but I need to find out," Jake replied, turning back to Lily, who was now drawing a picture with a friend. Her joy stood starkly against the darkness creeping into his thoughts. "Let's just focus on Lily for tonight," Mia said, her voice soft and calming. "I can't," Jake admitted, feeling torn. "If Mark knows something about her, I need to protect both of you." As the music flooded back, mingling with laughter and applause, Jake faced the escalating conflict within him. The night's bliss was slipping away as the shadows loomed larger, and he felt the urgency growing like a clock counting down. What did Mark really know? The dance of light and shadows continued around them, but for Jake, it felt like the pause before a storm. He could feel the winds shifting, and he braced himself for what would come next. The truth was out there, and he needed to find it before it found them. Would he uncover the secrets surrounding Mia, or would they fall deeper into the web Mark was weaving? The auditorium buzzed with energy as the second act began, but Jake's focus had shifted from the performance to the whirlwind of thoughts swirling in his mind. With urgency claiming his attention, he couldn't help but steal glances at Mia, the woman who had become a crucial part of both his and Lily's life. Her expression had changed, shifting from excitement to concern, mirroring Jake's own anxiety. "Jake?" Mia's voice broke through his thoughts, threading its way into his focus. "You sure you're okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." He forced a smile, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. "I'm fine. Just distracted. Let's watch Lily. She's the star tonight." As the music swelled, Jake leaned back to steal a look at Lily, wide-eyed and filled with glee as she twirled across the stage like she belonged among the stars. Yet the shadows Mark cast loomed over them all, a persistent cloud dampening their joy. After a quick glance back at Mia, he felt an undeniable urge to protect not just Lily, but her too. What darkness lurked in Mia's past? Was it anything like the darkness Mark threatened to bring into their lives? Jake couldn't shake the feeling that they were all connected in ways he wouldn't fully comprehend. The curtain fell, signaling the end of the act, and applause erupted like a tidal wave. Jake clapped along, but inside, he was anything but engaged. He leaned in closer to Mia. "I need to know more about Mark. What if he's right? What if there's something about you I don't understand?" Mia's eyes widened, and for a brief moment, confusion crossed her features. "Jake, please don't do this now. We can deal with Mark after the show." "You're overthinking." "No," Jake replied firmly. "It's not just about Mark anymore. It's about every single thing that's at risk here. I need you to talk to me. We're family now, and I can't have secrets. Not between us. Mia's gaze dropped, and he could tell she was weighing her words carefully. It's complicated, Jake. I want to tell you, but there are things I've buried. Her voice trailed off, loaded with unspoken fears. Jake felt his heart race. The stakes kept rising. Whatever it is, I can handle it. Just promise me you'll be honest. Promise me you'll still be here when I do, she replied, looking up to meet his eyes with a blend of hope and trepidation. I'm not going anywhere, he assured her, feeling the weight of the vow settle deep within him. Lily came bounding over, her face flushed with excitement. Daddy! Did you see me dance? I was a princess. She twirled, laughing as she mimicked the motions she had just performed. Yes, you were the most beautiful princess on that stage. Jake lifted her into his arms, kissing her forehead. You made everyone so proud. Mia watched them, a soft smile breaking through her tension. For a moment, everything felt perfect. But Jake could still sense the storm approaching, the truth lurking just beneath the surface as they returned to their seats for the final act. As the curtain rose again, Jake's thoughts drifted away from the performance and back to Mark's looming threat. Each passing moment felt like a ticking clock, counting down to a reckoning. What would Mark reveal if Jake pushed back? And what repercussions would the truth about Mia's past bring to the small, fragile world they were trying to protect? Underneath the bright lights of the auditorium, a deeper darkness began to unfurl, and Jake realized he was standing on a precipice. How much longer could they stay safe in the light? And what shadows would they have to confront as they moved forward? The final act unfolded, the stage awash in brilliant colors and vibrant music, but Jake's heart was heavy, caught in a complicated web of emotions. Though the applause echoed around him, he felt a lingering anxiety tight in his chest. His mind was a battlefield between the joy of Lily's sparkling performance and the shadows Mark cast on their lives. Mia's hand found his, her grip firm yet delicate, a lifeline amid his turmoil. Jake, focus on her. This is her moment, she whispered, her eyes sparkling with a mixture of admiration for Lily and concern for him. He nodded, not wanting to pull her worry deeper. Lily swayed dramatically on stage, clutching a sparkling tiara, and in that moment, everything felt surreal. She radiated happiness, her voice singing out, capturing the hearts of everyone in the auditorium. Somewhere between those notes, Jake's heart began to ease, just a little. But it wasn't enough to drown out the thoughts racing through his mind. Who was Mark? What secrets lay tangled in Mia's past? The city skyline glittered in the distance, seemingly unaware of the storm brewing within their lives. Each laugh from Lily seemed to tug at Jake's heart, forcing him to confront fears he had pushed aside. Just as the final note rang out and the audience erupted, Jake felt an unmistakable tap on his shoulder. He turned to see his friend Mike, his wide grin contrasting with the weight in Jake's chest. Hey, man. Great show. Lily was amazing. Yeah, she was, Jake replied, trying to match Mike's enthusiasm, but the shadows were creeping in again. The applause faded into murmurs, and Jake found himself scanning the crowd for Mark's long figure. Everything okay? Mike asked, his tone turning serious, sensitive to the shift in Jake's demeanor. Yeah, just you know how things are, Jake muttered, his eyes lingering on Mia. She was talking to a fellow parent, but every so often, her gaze flicked back to him, searching, as if she could sense the turmoil simmering below his calm facade. When the show concluded and parents began to collect their little performers, Jake turned to Mia. Hey, can we talk for a minute? He asked, hoping to hold on to the moment with Lily's joy still fresh in their minds. Sure, but let us keep it quick. They're calling for the kids, she replied, leading him away from the crowd, a slight determination in her stride. Once they found a quieter spot near the lobby, Jake looked into Mia's eyes, the weight of his questions pressing on him like a physical force. We need to be straight with each other. What is going on with you and Mark? She took a deep breath, her features tightening momentarily. The vulnerability etched on her face was unmistakable. "Jake, I promise I'll tell you soon. I don't want to burden you, especially not now." "Not a burden. It's life, Mia. We need to face this together." Before she could respond, a faint voice called from the back of the auditorium. "Mia." Out of the shadows, a tall man stepped forward, his presence commanding, a sense of danger floating off him. Jake felt his blood run cold. He instantly recognized the face Mark, standing there with an unsettling smile that felt more predatory than friendly. "Looks like the party's just starting," Mark said, eyes locking onto Mia, a challenge glinting in them. "Mark," Mia said, her voice steady yet laced with something Jake couldn't quite place fear. Jake stepped in front of Mia instinctively, the urge to protect surging within him. "What do you want?" Mark chuckled lightly, "Just having a chat with an old friend." "Isn't that right, Mia?" The tension crackled around them like static electricity. Whatever secrets Mia held were now part of this confrontation too. As their eyes locked, Jake felt a shift, the dynamic was changing in ways he hadn't anticipated. What was Mark's true intention? And what would Mia reveal now, with the confrontation forcing their hand? Jake's pulse raced as Mark's eyes bored into him like daggers. The hallway felt constricted, the walls closing in, trapping them in this tense moment. The cheerful buzz of the post-show crowd faded into the background, replaced by a suffocating silence that echoed around them. "Mia, this isn't the time," Jake said, his voice lower but firm. He could feel the heat radiating from Mark, sensing his confidence, a wolf among sheep. But Jake couldn't back down. Not now, not ever. Mia shifted beside him, her expression caught between defiance and fear. "Jake, just let me handle this," she whispered, her voice taut. Mark looked between them, a grin playing at the corners of his mouth. "Oh, I like this dynamic. You two really think you can just push past what has been happening?" He took a step closer, invading their space, his presence looming. "We're done with the games, Mark," Mia stated, a hint of fierceness edging into her voice. Jake could see the fight rising in her, igniting something in him too. "What do you want?" Jake pressed, trying to keep his voice steady. He refused to be intimidated, not while Mia was beside him. Mark's smile faded slightly, replaced by something darker. "I just want Mia to remember who she is, what we had. You might think you can be some kind of hero, but the truth is, I know her. And she knows me." Jake felt Mia tense beside him, the tension pulling tight as if they were standing on a tightrope. "He has no right to speak for me," Mia shot back, her voice steadier now. "Whatever happened between us is over, Mark." "Is it?" Mark challenged, narrowing his eyes. "You think you can just erase the past? That's naive." With every word, the air thickened. Jake's instincts were screaming for action. "You need to leave," he said firmly. "Mia doesn't want you here." Mark laughed, but it seemed hollow, void of real amusement. "You don't know what is coming, do you?" he said, shifting his gaze to Mia again. "Or what I can reveal about your little life here." Mia's face turned pale, but she clenched her fists. "What do you think you can threaten me with?" She stood taller now, finding a courage Jake hadn't noticed before. Mark took a step back, hands creased in front of him, almost feigning surrender. "I'm not threatening, I'm just saying that the truth can be revealing." "What truth?" Jake asked, his heart pounding. "What else can you possibly bring to the table?" Mark leaned back against the wall, crossing his arms. "Mia has a past, Jake. One that's not nearly as tidy as you think. And all it takes is one little word to unravel what you've built here." Mia shot Jake a desperate look, but he shook his head slightly. "No, don't let them distract you." "Enough!" Mia cried, her voice breaking the tension like glass. "I want to let you do this to me. To us." Jake felt a rush of protective fury overtake him. You'll stop this right now, Mark. Whatever you think you know, whatever you believe you can hold over her, it ends tonight. Mark raised an eyebrow, impressed. Oh, tough guy, huh? But let me remind you, when you're dealing with people like us, this isn't solved in a few minutes. Jake took another step forward, ready to assert himself. But every ounce of his resolve was tested when Mia reached out, putting a gentle hand on his arm. Jake, don't, she uttered, her voice softer now. Mark's smirk returned, victorious. See? She knows. A little knowledge can go a long way. Jake's mind swirled, pandemonium breaking free as he fought to understand what Mark was implying. He wanted to protect Mia, but it felt like an uphill battle. What are you trying to say? Jake asked, unwilling to back down but uncertain now. Just then, the sound of light footsteps approached, a group of parents and children talking animatedly about the performance. Let us get out of here, Jake urged, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. He didn't want Mia to be cornered under Mark's gaze a second longer. But she hesitated, looking back at Mark. This isn't over, she stated resolutely before taking a step back to Jake. As they turned to blend into the crowd, Mark called out with a mocking lilt. Remember, Mia, the past always comes knocking when you least expect it. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. He thought the worst was behind them, but now he knew better. Secrets were waiting, and he felt determined to uncover them, whatever they may reveal. As they stepped out into the bright evening air, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that this confrontation was just the beginning. What lay beneath the surface, he wondered. And how far back would Mia's past reach into their present? The cool evening breeze was a sharp contrast to the tension still coiling inside Jake. As they merged with the throngs of excited voices buzzing around the theater, every laugh and cheer felt amplified, almost mocking the gravity of their confrontation. He glanced sideways at Mia, her face slightly pale, worry lines bracketing her mouth. It struck him how easily her light could be dimmed by the specter of Mark. Are you okay? He asked, his concern creating a safe space within his voice, hoping to shield her from Mark's haunting words. She took a deep breath and nodded, though the flicker in her eyes betrayed her. I didn't expect him to show up tonight. I thought we were past this. Her lips pressed together, forming a hard line. Let us just get away from here. We can talk later. Jake placed a comforting hand on her back, guiding her forward. Every instinct told him that sticking close would be their only safe course for now. They crossed the street and moved toward a nearby cafe, where the clinking of cups and the aroma of fresh coffee create a cozy atmosphere. But for Jake, every clatter was drowned out by the fear that weighed on them. The cafe lights flickered warmly, but nothing could illuminate the shadow left by Mark's threat. As they settled at a small table, Jake leaned in, scanning her expression. What did he mean by your past? What could he even know? Mia hesitated, her fingers nervously tracing the rim of her coffee cup. It's complicated. Complicated how? Mia, you can trust me. His intensity pleaded for her honesty. She sighed, surrendering to the moment. Before I moved here, I had a different life. Mark was intertwined with that. We shared things that I thought wouldn't follow me, then I realized how wrong I was. Confusion washed over Jake. Are you saying he has been stalking you? No. She snapped, her eyes widening with urgency. It's not like that. We were close, and I thought when I broke things off, I could just be free. But he knows things. Things I've tried to forget. Jake leaned back, absorbing her pain. She had shared snippets of her life, but this felt deeper. Mia, you're not alone in this. Please, tell me what he could possibly bring up that would shake you like this. We can fight it together. The anguish on her face broke Jake's heart. It's not just about what he knows, she whispered, her voice almost lost in the surrounding buzz. It's about what I've hidden. If those truths come out, Then let us put a stop to it before it happens, Jake urged, determination hardening his voice. We'll figure this out. Just promise me you'll share everything. I promise, Mia said, though uncertainty lingered in her eyes like an unwelcome guest. Just then, her phone buzzed, a sound that sliced through their moment. She glanced at the screen, her expression shifting. What is it? Jake asked, sensing her tension return. It's a text from my old neighbor. She's asking if I'm okay. Mia looked up, worry swirling within her. It feels too coincidental, like Mark could be reaching out to my past, trying to rattle me. Let me see. Jake extended his hand, wanting to shoulder the burden with her. Mia hesitated but then handed over her phone. As Jake read the message, a knot formed in his stomach. It wasn't just a simple check-in, there were undertones of fear and confusion in her neighbor's words. What does she know? He thought. Jake. Mia began, but her voice trembled. I don't know what's coming, but we need to be ready for it. He looked up, locking eyes with her. We're in this together, regardless of what Mark thinks he can pull. Just as Mia nodded in agreement, the cafe door swung open, and in walked a figure that made them both freeze. It was Mark, sauntering in as if he owned the place, searching, scanning and locking eyes with the two of them. Fear coursed through Jake, as the implications of this intrusion barreled toward them. Why was he here, and what did he want now? Ready or not, here it comes, Jake thought, heart pounding. What truths was Mark determined to unveil, and how would they fight back? Against the looming shadows of Mia's past. Mark strolled deeper into the cafe, his confident gait mingling unsettlingly with the warmth of the buzz around him. It felt as if the laughter from surrounding tables paled in comparison to the storm brewing within Jake. He clenched his jaw, instinct urging him to rise and shield Mia despite their earlier conversation. Jake's gaze darted around the cafe, searching for a way to escape, but the doorways felt miles away. Mark spotted them, a slow smirk creeping across his face as he approached their table. Fancy meeting you here, he quipped, his tone dripping with mockery. Go away, Mark, Jake replied coolly, his heart racing. He felt like a lion preparing to defend his territory. Oh, but I can't resist an opportunity to see how my old friend has adapted your little fairy tale, Mark shot back, glancing at Mia with a predatory intrigue. Still playing house, are we? Mia squared her shoulders, her voice steady despite the quiver in her hands. What do you want, Mark? Mark feigned innocence, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Just checking in on my favorite nurse. I heard someone might need her services soon. He leaned closer, lowering his voice to a conspiratorial whisper. I hope you're not too comfortable in this little bubble. The past has a funny way of popping up when you least expect it. Jake felt a wave of anger wash over him, tightening his fists. You must be confused, Mark. We're done playing this game. You need to back off. Mark shifted his eyes back to Jake, the amusement in his expression fading. Is that right? Because every time you think you've put it behind you, it creeps back in. Just like me. Ignoring the way his words rattled him, Jake leaned forward, his tone fierce. Whatever history you have with Mia doesn't have anything to do with me. You need to leave us alone. Mark chuckled lightly, turning his body, basking in a tension that felt misplaced. You're underestimating a very powerful truth about her that I hold. What are you talking about? The words flew out from Jake's lips before he could stop himself, the urgency clawed at him. Let us just say, Mark drawled, some secrets are best left buried. But they can cause quite the ruckus when they see the light of day. Mia inhaled sharply, the worry reflecting the desperation growing between their two worlds. Mark, stop it. Just because I'm trying to move forward doesn't mean you can threaten us. He stepped back, feigning hurt. A threat? Me? I'm not the villain here, just a spectator. He gestured towards Mia with a sardonic smile, are weaving the plot. Enough. Jake interjected. This isn't about you. You're nothing but shadows and cheap tricks. But those shadows can darken a bright future, Jake, Mark countered, eyes glinting with malevolence. The cafe atmosphere began to shift, a creeping awareness settling as patrons sent curious glances their way. Jake could feel the scrutiny prickling at his neck. This wasn't just a private confrontation, it felt like an act of aggression for everyone to witness. And that made Jake more determined than ever. Mia reached across the table, her voice no louder than a whisper. Jake, we need to focus. This is not about confrontation. No, Mark said, leaning in once more, this is about undeniable truth. And if Mia wants to truly protect what she has found with you, she needs to face the reality of her past. Desperation clouded Mia's expression. You don't understand, Mark. I'm trying to build a life free from that. Tears glimmered in her eyes, every emotion crashing like waves against the shore. Is that really what you want? He shot back. To erase everything? You'll see how futile that is. It becomes a part of you. There is no truth in your words. Jake shouted, the anger flaring inside him like a wildfire. Then maybe you both should prepare for some unexpected revelations, Mark began, but his voice was drowned out as the cafe door swung open and a familiar face stepped inside. Jake! There you are. It was Mike, clueless and cheerful, and everything froze as if the world had come to a halt. Mark's eyes narrowed, and he straightened up. Suddenly looking every bit the predator in the presence of a new pawn. Well, looks like the entourage has arrived. Dude, are you okay? Mike asked, scanning the scene and sensing the tension in the air, confusion and worry flaring in his eyes. What is going on? Oh, just a little reunion, Mark retorted, maintaining a sinister smile while eyeing Mia like she was his next conquest. Reunion? Mike questioned, looking between the three. What's this about? Jake shot an intense look at Mark, warning him not to say another word. He had to protect Mia, to keep her safe from the fallout, but now it felt like they were teetering between worlds, their fragile moment becoming entangled in old alliances and new threats. Mia, Jake said softly, leaning closer, you need to decide now. What do you want? Her eyes flared with hope and fear, vulnerability crystallizing in the space between them. It was time to show strength and reclaim everything at stake. Could Mia summon the courage to face her past in order to forge a future? I want to move forward, she replied, her tone steadying. With Jake. With both of you. Mark scoffed, disbelief oozing from him. You think you can outrun your truth? It'll catch you, you know. I'll see you two at the finish line. With those words, Mark turned, striding toward the door, confident as ever. The chill he left behind remained heavy, trembling at the edge of fear and resolution. Let us go, Jake said, grasping Mia's hand with determination. They needed to face whatever Mark had stirred now. Whatever darkness loomed, they had a chance to control the narrative. Jake, wait, Mike said, concern etched on his face. What was that all about? I'll explain later, Jake promised, casting a glance toward Mia. There was strength in their bond now, a reality that light could cut through any shadows. As they moved toward the exit together past the murmur of whispers and stilled laughter, Jake felt a new sense of purpose within. They were not bound by the past, but rather defined by their choices today. Whatever truth Mark could wield, they would face it head-on. Outside, the air was crisp. We'll figure this out together, Mia said, determination sparking in her eyes. Yes, Jake affirmed, squeezing her hand tighter. We'll uncover what lies ahead. This is our story now. And with that promise, they began to walk into a tomorrow forged in strength, facing whatever shadows might cross their path with newfound hope and unwavering resolve. This was the moment of transformation, not just for Mia, but for Jake too, a turning point where love stood defiantly at the center of their fight. He realized then that it wasn't just about protecting his family, it was about embracing the love that was blooming in the cracks of chaos, creating a fortress against all that dared to threaten their happiness. So they stepped forward together, hearts linked as the night sky sparkled above them, a silent witness to their story unfolding. This was just the beginning of a whole new chapter, and neither Mark nor fear could take that from them. Now, it's time for you to show your support. You need to subscribe now if you want more transformative stories like this, stories that touch your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and bring this community even closer together. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. I want to hear your thoughts. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. It could inspire them too. Thank you for being a part of this journey,